Hello, everybody. Welcome. No, it's not just Ames. I'm here. I'm back. My show was stolen violently against my will.
It totally was.
You didn't even, the best part is you didn't even text me to see like, hey, are you available? You want to pop on here and fuck around?
I didn't need help.
No, I know. No, I would have only got in the way.
This is what I'm saying, Mike. That's exactly why I didn't text you. I didn't text you to ask if you wanted to join. I didn't text you to ask you if it was okay.
No.
I just fucking did it.
If you remember, first off, I love it. I was glad you did. I watched, actually, I was like, live notification, TDC, what the fuck?
You're like, hang on a second.
I was
this is literally my show.
Why is Aaron doing, what is he doing in here? And then I was like, oh yeah. And I went on there and there you are with fucking graphs and charts. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. She's more prepared than any show I ever do. This is hilarious.
So funny.
Before I went on out of town to Michigan, and thank you everybody for being here. It's good to be back. I'm happy to be back here in Arizona. Well, just to be settled in where I'm comfortable, I guess, not to be out of Michigan because I had a reasonable amount of fun there. But no, before I left, we knew that the Karen Reed trial that you've been following, like, I don't know, like a scorned woman, like
it's consuming my life.
Yeah, it's almost like a stalker woman. Like,
yeah,
what is he doing? Like, you've got binoculars on you on this guy's house that broke up with you, and you're watching every move, and it's like it reminds me almost of that. And you're not the only one.
Oh no, I'm not the only one, Mike. I have considered hopping in my car and driving out to Canton, fucking Massachusetts, for the verdict.
Hilarious.
There are like 500 people out there right now.
You're like what? Yeah, I mean, you're like one of those ICE protesters.
Yeah, seriously, I was getting ready for the show. And I'm like, Mike's going to ask me stuff about current events, and the only thing I can talk to you about is the happenings in Canton, Massachusetts. Like, that's all I've got going in my life.
But for people that are like, what the fuck, man? Because people did reach out to me and were like, what the fuck, man?
I posted on the fan page to give you guys a heads up.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. Because I said, and I compared it to Joe Rogan when he does the MMA stuff. And I'm like, thank you very much for the heads up. It's not my bag. They're probably wonderful shows. There's probably a shitload in them that I would like. Just not my bag. So I move past those. I don't go, what the fuck, Joe Rogan? Like, no. I
only do stuff I want to hear.
Yeah, and I actually like the idea. I know this has been hard for people, this whole move, and the studio's not set up in any way like I want it. The show's not in the final format that I think will be user-friendly and how I want to do it. I love having Amy here, but I'm juggling a lot of things. And so to me, I was like, I love that. If I'm not going to be there and Amy is fully capable and is passionate about something and is well-researched, that's what I trust more than anything. It's like, you're not going to go under the banner and be completely ill-informed on something and then make me look bad or anything like that.
Yeah, I did call a couple people a cunt.
You did what?
I called a couple people a cunt.
That's fine.
Okay.
The listeners, you mean?
Well, I mean, maybe like potential listeners. They're not current listeners. They were like Karen Reed people that had found the stream.
Yeah, no, I it's a weird thing because I felt like a dick the one time when you posted the coverage, because then all these thousands of people that have no idea what this is think you have a bumbling fool as a co-host who doesn't like, oh, this is a Karen Reed podcast. And why do you have this fat guy sitting there with no clue what's going on, making irrelevant comment? So, that was my thing. It was like, well, I mean, yeah. So, but no, I was glad that there was something going up under the banner, like, hey, people are getting a notification, because believe it or not, for all you people out there that go, what the fuck, man, why aren't you doing stories about guys fucking barnyard animals like you used to do? Like, yeah, that's true. But there's a lot of people that really do enjoy following it, that have jumped on board and are like, hey, where do I get more information about this? What is Amy found? Those people reach out to me too. So I know you're not going to please everybody.
I actually I had a surprising amount of like regular listeners who reached out to me and they're like, I listened to you while I was in my cube at work. I listened to the whole 2.5 hours and thought she was guilty at first, and you totally changed my mind. And, and I think people had heard me talk about it, but I mean, I went really fucking in depth, really fucking in depth. And so, I think it was good. It was fun for me.
I did, I probably tuned in one day and I can't remember what I was doing exactly, but I was about to do something else and I just happened upon it. And I was just like, oh, what's she doing? What is this one up to? And I tuned in and I was like, I'm just going to make sure the broadcast is going off. Okay, that's cool. And I got sucked in for like 25 minutes. And I was like, she's really good. She's really good. She knows her shit. She's setting this up properly. She's engaging. She's confident in what she's saying.
Funny.
Like, it was great.
It's so funny because someone wrote to me and they were like, that was like really well organized and well done. And I literally didn't have any fucking notes. I mean, I was just like going off the cuff, like in my brain, like logically what comes next. So like I said, that's probably the only topic I could do by myself, but I'm glad to have that you're back, Mike, and we can
Thank you.
It's regular scheduled programming.
It's good to be back. There's a couple things in that and why I feel so comfortable with you doing that, regardless of whether or not people like the content or don't care about the story. There's certain things when I'm dealing with potential people that I'm working with that I look for. One of the things that you all liked about Jay so much is Jay never cut me off, and almost in a negative way. Because I a lot of times I want him to take the ball. Like, I know he wasn't trained in this medium, but his background as a litigator is what was so appealing about his delivery. Like, if he had a point, he knew how to make it and get the fuck out. And he is more than willing to let someone like me who just rants and raves go off, sink myself, bolster my own argument, or kill myself in an argument. And Jay would stay back and poach. And it made for a really great co-host in that respect. One of the things that doesn't surprise me about you, Amy, is the no notes, which is something that tells me that whoever is sitting there, their brain's functioning on a high level and they're able to maintain and stay on point and go where they want with it. It's very appealing to someone like me, where I don't care if we're talking about the Lions or talking about Karen Reed case or anything else. You can do that. You know what I mean? Like, there are benefits to that. And for someone that's like, where are you going to find a co-host? It's like, yeah, I want someone who's smart. I want someone who's funny. I want someone who's staying up on things. Like, there's all kinds of things that go into it.
Yeah.
That's one of the key ones. And why it was like, no, Amy's really good. Whether someone else joins this or whatever, Amy will be here in some respect, because I've always known that about you. And the more I've worked with you, the more it's like, yeah, she's very competent and confident in her own voice and stuff. So it kind of pisses me off. The people that are like, I get it. If she wasn't hot, you wouldn't fuck it. And it's like, dude, if you think that I'm making decisions based on someone's looks, I don't give a shit I'm being totally honest here. I don't give a shit what Amy looks like.
Yeah, and I'm not even that hot anymore. I'm like a fucking old lady now. So it's not like I'm some I don't know, 20-year-old.
No, I know what you mean.
But I really enjoy the way that this podcast has been starting off. So if we could just talk about more things that you like about me, we could keep this going for a really long time.
No, I got one email. This guy's emailed me before. Kudos, Amy and the Karen. Yeah, I thought it was great. You can read this on the air or don't. I don't care.
Read it.
So while you're off, the axe wound hijinks your show and she didn't hijack it. We had full discussion about this before I went out of town, by the way. And I was encouraging her on multiple episodes. I was like, Amy, do it. Whether I'm there or not, just do it. Go. Have fun. You're not going to break anything. So go have fun. So no, she didn't hijack anything. That's hilarious. So you perceive it that way. She proceeds to do a 2.5 hour show and a 2 3/4 hour show about Karen Reed. How did you let this happen? You always said you couldn't do a show by yourself, but you can. But you let her ramble for nearly 6 hours about bullshit true crime. I'm sorry, but this Amy experiment has jumped the shark.
Nice.
Yeah, hilarious. No, like but that. See, this is what happens when people get mad about one thing. And I can do this too. Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Funny.
Water. Yeah. I know you'll defend Amy because she's hot and you think you need a co-host, but the show is actually 1,000 times better with gay Eezus.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. These people, hilarious.
Thank you. I have a really big fan club over on X. So please follow me over there because you would get along really well with some of my followers. So be sure to follow me. My guy.
All that's happening is you guys are reading the news each day. That's all I've ever done. That's all I do is I read the fucking news each day.
Oh my God.
And I give you my opinions on it, or whoever's in my orbit. They give you their opinions on it.
For the record, I fully agree that Mike could do a show by himself. 100% Mike could do a show by himself. And like I said, I posted in the fan page ahead of time, like, hey, FYI, I'm going to do this. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. Don't listen if you don't want to. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. So, you know, to act like you're like fucking surprised that a Karen Reed podcast popped up. That's, you know.
The other thing is it's wrapping up right now. So I knew the timeliness of that. There was one person on, and I don't know how to send her a DM. She wanted me to DM her. She's on the opposite side of the Karen Reed verdict. And I tried to figure out how to DM her and I couldn't. So
that's
I don't
probably
know.
for the best because I was honestly, she came upon my feed again today. Gross.
Yeah.
And she's batshit crazy.
Really?
Batshit crazy.
It's interesting how these people, like the ones I've paid a little bit of attention to, they think they know the other's political opinions based on how you feel about Karen Reed. And the funny thing is she's like a MAGA Trump person.
Yeah, she is.
Who thinks Karen Reed is guilty as shit. And it's wild because she'll level like, you're probably some libtard fucking.
I got called a libtard today.
That's
someone
hilarious.
Called me a My Twitter name is so MAGA funny. Barbie.
Yeah.
And someone called me a fucking libtard. I was like, what?
It's kind of a badge of honor that it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
honestly, I almost posted that. I was like, this is like kind of the funniest thing anybody's ever said to me on this website.
Well, if that chick is listening, it's not that I'm afraid at all of bringing her on and you're afraid to debate her on any level. I couldn't figure out how to DM her. Some people, it's really easy for me to DM and some it's not. So
I wonder if you blocked me up.
If you still want to talk to her, I think you issued that challenge and she finally said she would do it. And I was fine with that,
I had challengers yesterday and it looks like one of them came back. His name is Jeff Williams. He is back here in the chat to talk about how there's 10 people watching and that I should clean my mouth out with soap. So I did go. Hey, Jeff, I did have somebody challenging me yesterday.
For Jeff, this is there's not many people listening. This is not how most people have consumed this show over the years anyways.
Yeah.
And this is not a Karen Reed podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like, you're kind of in uncharted territory here. That's not what this show is. Right. TDC behind me stands for the Detroit Cast, which it's a whole other thing. But yeah, Amy is really into that trial. And so that's why we've talked about it. And the fact that it's wrapping up, the jury's out now. I haven't taken a hard line either way.
You have.
Talk about, well, sort of, it seems reasonable to me but I fully understand that I'm getting most of my information one-sided from you. So it's easy to, I'm not fighting you on that. I know
I'm right, so it's fine.
Yeah. Hey,
you're
that's
on the
how
right
I feel
side
about
of it.
It's how I feel about every story I cover. So I understand that line of thinking. Totally get it. Anyways, so
how
the
was your
jury's
trip,
out now.
Mike?
It was okay. It was okay. I did Drew's show a couple days.
Nice. How was
the Drew
that?
Lane podcast. That was good. It's funny. Mark's such a, You know, he
talk
kind of
about libtard.
Yeah, he kind of sulked at one point. We were talking about something, and he made some like, "Oh, look at this, George Soros is to blame for everything."
Oh,
you know, like one of those. And I was just like,
probably could
hilarious.
not wait to say that.
Yeah, he and I don't even remember the context of what the story was. It's funny. It's a different show than this. They cover. It's much more done like a radio, like we did when we all did a radio show together.
Right.
It was it's localized on some level, and it's you know, Eli Zarrett was there one day doing like sports, and it felt very much like a radio show. Drew is just so easy to do talk radio with that's always a lot of fun. And Brandon was there. Mark was there. Mark was great too. It was a lot of fun seeing those guys. I'm bummed Bentley wasn't there. It would have been nice to see him. But you know, there were so many stories I just wasn't up on. I haven't followed like the Diddy trial or like, so, and it's like, they're going in depth like Drew does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I say anything here, I'm going to sound like such a noob. Like, you know, what
I handle the true crime for this podcast. Okay. Right. You're not up to date on the true crime. That's my forte.
So anyways, I landed in Detroit Metro, and got off the plane, and my folks picked me up, and I'm in the car 30 seconds when my mom announces that she's got breast cancer.
What?
And I'm just like, oh, awesome.
Just like casually drops it on you.
Yeah, like she was waiting for me to land, and like, we got your suitcase in, you know, this is going to be a great 10 days, by the way. It drops that on me. And so I'm the type of person that kind of buries my head in the sand. Like, if I don't know about it, it's not happening. I used to make the joke, if I had AIDS, like, no, I don't. As long as the doctor hasn't told me, I don't have it. Technically, I don't have it yet because I haven't been dying. Like, I'm that guy, and it's going to bite me really bad one day, where I'm going to let something go too long. But it's out of fear. I think my whole life is based on that kind of thing, and it's like, you know, when it comes to my mom and dad, who are 78 years old now, my brother, my sister, like, I just want to think everything's okay always. And so anytime in my life these things have been dropped on me, I don't think I handle it really well. Like, my sister would have a good cry with my mom, and they'd sit down and they'd discuss everything. And I'm like, I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. And what are we doing for dinner?
Yeah.
And it's just a horrible, but then it just hung with me the whole trip, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I put on a face. I went to a Tiger game. I actually tried to get a little active. I played a game of pickleball. I went bowling with Kirk Gibson and Drew.
How was that?
That was fucking wild, man.
Wait, is Kirk Gibson good at bowling?
Yeah, he's Kirk Gibson, dude. He's a 2-time World Series champion.
I know, but today in 2025, Kirk Gibson's good at bowling?
Well, he's got Parkinson's.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. He's slow.
Okay.
And his gait is very deliberate. But it's Kirk Gibson. And you see him standing there, and you see the guy that hit that 2-run bottom of the ninth walk-off home run in the World Series, and the place going bonkers in LA, and the guy flying around the bases at Tiger Stadium, winning the World Series in '84. And I know he's very funny. He's very engaging. He was hard to we went to dinner afterwards, and it was cool because it was me and Drew and Gibson and 2 of Gibson's boys, his sons.
Nice.
And including Kirk. I think he's a junior, Kirk Gibson, and he's wearing a Metallica t-shirt, and he looks exactly like young Kirk Gibson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's hot. The chicks would think he's hot. He's tall. He looks he looks just like Kirk Gibson. And he and I fucking hit it off immediately.
Nice.
And I have a new bestie in Kirk Gibson Jr. Like,
cool,
dude. Yeah.
Even though you weren't positive on his name like 3 seconds ago.
Well, they were calling him like Kirk Richard Gibson or something. Like they were calling him 3 names, and I'm kind of new to the mix, so I wanted to act like I knew, like I was on the team. But they
were calling him by 3 names. Is he a serial killer?
No, he's not a serial killer that I'm aware of.
Okay,
but
because usually only serial killers go by 3 names.
Yeah, but it was like Matt Riley showed up at one point, and Matty's one of my favorite people ever, hilarious, and he referenced him by 3 names. Drew introduced him by 3 names, and then I just went, dude, that's a sweet T-shirt, and he was like, I was at this show, and I was like, so was I, and then it was like we just went back and forth for 3 hours about what shows we'd been to.
Fighting.
Yeah, we basically would have been. It would have been sword to chin fighting because he's the big dude. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I was like, you know what?
Do people come up to recognize Drew and or Kirk Gibson in public?
Yes, both.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, if I want to feel like if I want to feel like a total nobody, just hang out with Drew Lane or Kirk Gibson, I found out too.
Man, I bet Drew fucking hates that. I would hate that so much.
No, here's the weird thing though, Amy. So I think a couple of Kirk Gibson's kids' friends showed up because members of the Drew and Mike show were there.
Interesting.
To see him. And then we're sitting there and Chris Draper texts and is like, come up to the bar. They were going to Dick O'Dow's or something. And it was just like, where am I?
Right. Like, you're flashback to 1997.
Totally. It's like Kirk Gibson and Chris Draper. And Drew Lane. And but I feel this
probably
big.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I know. And so it was a lot of fun. But then, you see, it's so funny because I haven't felt like this in a while. It's like if you go to a Red Wings game with Darren McCarty.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, we're just making an appearance. Darren's done this to me before. We're just making an appearance. So going to go into a suite, say hi to some listeners. No, you're not doing that. As soon as you walk in, the amount of double takes, because people are like, that's Darren McCarty. No, that can't be Darren. Why would Darren McCarty be here?
Right.
So there's a lot of that when you walk in, and I'm kind of in my phone. I'm not thinking anything of it. We've just been bowling, and my arm's sore because I'm not used to lifting 8 whole pounds. Bolero in Royal Oak.
Okay.
Oak Park, whatever that is. So you walk in and then people are at a booth. It's a Friday night, I guess, Friday evening. And people are double taking. And I'm like, oh, they recognize Drew or something. And then I hear, I've done this with Vinny from Sponge too. This has happened where people don't know what exactly to do. But then it was like, that was Kirk Gibson.
Yeah.
And then you can literally time it with a watch. Like how many minutes is it going to take for them to get the balls up to come over and they need to get a picture out of this and they need to get a fist bump or a handshake out of this interaction that has to happen.
Yeah.
But those guys, every time someone came up to Kirk Gibson, the rest of the table would be like, the Drew Lane is right there.
Right.
So it's kind of wild. I haven't been in that kind of atmosphere for a while, but it's funny. They have sports memorabilia, wall to wall, the whole place. And right behind Kirk is a poster of him in full, like a big ass poster of Kirk Gibson from Michigan State.
Oh, wow.
In his football gear. And he was telling stories about, like reliving the glory days at Michigan State and talking some shit. There's some things I wish to God I could tell right now about maybe his old broadcast partner and stuff like that. But I probably said too much there. But his boys were fucking awesome. His crew was really cool. It was. I'm really glad I went. But again, hanging over me the whole time was this news about my mom.
Yeah.
It just sucked, and I think she's going to be okay. I think they caught it early.
Good.
Yeah. But it's still really devastating.
Mike.
Yeah, it's devastating stuff to get. And then
sorry.
Mm-hmm. So the next morning, I'm like, okay, I've only got another day here. And it's kind of dominated my whole thought. I haven't really gone anywhere. I had some stuff that was planned out that I was doing. And above that, I planned I'm going to call Amy and I'm going to call this. And I just found myself not wanting to do anything really. And I'm sorry for that. But I was like, you know what? I got to hook up with Trav. Yeah. If he's available, and so I texted, and my timeline could be off. It might have been the night before. I texted Trav and I was like, hey, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, and figured he'd be like, oh, I'm busy. I'm out of I've got CIA's got me off.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're kind of busy in the CIA right now, Mike. I can't fucking hang out with you, okay?
They've got me and the wife in Uganda killing people. So
exactly.
I'd love to hang out, but I can't. But he was like, hey, I'm having a bonfire tonight or something. There's only a couple people coming over, but we'd love to have you. And I was like, done. I could do that. And then all I can think is something I ate the night before. Hit me like a freight train. I almost wasn't here today.
Oh, like shit.
I have spent the last 40 hours, 30 on the toilet.
Gross.
Yeah, dude. It was debilitating, paralyzing.
Gross,
yeah, it was fucking gross. It was, I didn't know what to do. And finally I was like, I don't know what to say to Trav. And I'm like, I don't know if this is contagious, if it's something I ate.
I don't want to blow up your toilet.
Yeah. And dude, my biggest nightmare. Yeah, totally. So anyways, I felt really bad. I was really looking forward to hanging out with Jen and Trav. And
yeah.
And
my mom called me today and asked when I was going to do the show again with my little friend.
Friend. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like,
I'm
pretty sure he's back tonight. And she was like, well, why didn't you get together when he was here and do a show at your house? I was like, did you want us to sit around the one mic and like share it like a fucking milkshake straw? Is that what you're like envisioning for this podcast?
Yeah. She probably was.
Yeah. She's like, well,
and that would have been fine.
Just go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think my mom secretly likes to listen.
I think she
I
was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that.
She brings it up a lot.
Yeah. She's a fan. She listens.
She is a fan.
And she can hate listen.
Yeah.
She can hate listen.
Yes, that's what she does, I think. Yeah.
And that's fine. She is like central casting libtard mom today. She is. And God bless her. She's entitled to that. Don't do anything stupid. But that's what she is.
Totally.
You know? And so she can hate listen. I don't care. That Jeff guy that messaged is probably hate listening. He probably hates this show if you'd listen for more than 10 minutes too. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. So do you want to give some updates before we get into some other stuff?
Oh, if you guys want updates, check out the last two shows I did without Mike.
But the jury went out. The jury's out now. We're on deliberation watch.
Yes, we're on verdict watch. The jury has the case. They got it at like 2:30 in the afternoon on Friday. So they had it for like an hour before they went home on Friday, and then they came back today, and they took the day. And then they went home around 4. They'll be back tomorrow morning. So hopefully there's a verdict tomorrow. You know, as much as someone like me who knows every single detail about both trials, like, and to me, it's like, this is so fucking easy, right? This is the easiest decision in the world. Presumably these 12 people don't know all the stuff that we know. They haven't been sitting with it as long as we have. And they haven't been able to talk about it for the last 8 weeks. They've had to not talk about it amongst each other. So I imagine that they're probably sitting down going, can you believe this and this and this and this, you know? So we'll see. Hopefully there's a verdict tomorrow, and whatever it is will be what my mood is on the podcast tomorrow.
Yeah.
But so we'll see.
No, that'll be interesting when it comes out. It's kind of wild how, you know, I guess it's true of all cases. We pick a side and we walk that narrative, and we're blinded by our own biases at times. I don't know what you'd compare this to. Like, OJ had people divided along racial lines. Kyle Rittenhouse had people divided, and Kyle Rittenhouse is a good example. Like, I don't have any favorability towards Kyle Rittenhouse. I knew what that story was in Kenosha. And when you honestly looked at the details, I was very confident going on air going, there's no way a jury that's listened to this stuff. Like, I understand a witch hunt. I understand what the political climate is in this country. There's no way charges should have been brought in this case. But there were half the people had their mind made up. You know, they still thought he shot black people. Like people clueless. And I don't know what this falls under, because this Karen Reed thing, like, local stories shouldn't capture the imagination of a country or go international unless they're really wild details, or there's been documentary coverage for some reason, or one of the national outlets picks it up. I don't feel like that happened in this case, that this really was kind of a
Turtle
small
Boy.
You think it was that guy?
100. Oh, there's no question. Like, he's the one who blew it up. His reporting on it back in 2023 is what made it the national story that it is. The 100%. It was him. Honestly, like, the more I watched a Charlie LaDuff piece the other
About
day
this?
where no, Charlie LaDuff, he was doing a FOIA request, something about COVID nursing home deaths, and they wanted to charge him like $30,000 or something to get the information. Either $3,000 or $30,000. Maybe it was $3,000. They wanted to charge him $3,000 to get the information. And so he went to the Capitol and like had a camera crew with him, but brought his checkbook. And he's like walking around like trying to find someone to take his check, and no one's fucking working. And he's just like, I'm just trying to pay to get the information. And so, like, just the way he approaches things, like the two of them just remind me so much of each other.
So he's trying to do a FOIA request, and they're trying to charge him
$3,000 for the information. Yeah. So he brought his checkbook.
Totally sounds on the up and up.
Yeah. He's like, I'll be back. He's like, I'll be back in 30 days to get the information.
Yeah. Well, they've been running from him, the state of Michigan and Gretchen Whitmer. They've been running from him for a while.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah,
they have. And I think he's basically saying now, like, they've been telling me that they don't have this information. And now
I bet they don't.
Yeah, he's like, now he goes, I have other information that tells me they do have this information. So we're asking for it,
Yeah. And the cool thing about the Charlie LaDuffs of the world, and I don't know if he's like a Turtle Boy out there, if it's a totally different thing.
I feel like people discount him. You could call him Aiden. I mean, you don't have to call him Turtle Boy. I know that's like a thing.
I do discount him for that. You explained it well, and that helps. Yeah, but it's not getting me over the hump.
And he's not like a Pulitzer Prize winner. But if you know the history of this case, it was getting very little media attention until he shined light on the corruption that was going on in that state. And then add on top of it that those same people that investigated Karen have now charged Aiden with witness intimidation for asking questions.
I think I saw him for the first time today on a Twitter video. On the steps. It seems like a lot of people are hanging out on the steps, and someone was harassing him, giving him shit about something.
Oh, John DePietro. Yeah, that fucking clown.
Yeah, he seemed kind of clownish. Intimidating, like it seemed. But, you're not going to intimidate a guy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
The other guy.
Yeah.
And it's trying to intimidate those guys. That's not going to work because that's the first move most people go to.
Right.
The Charlie LaDuffs of the world are so used to that.
Yeah.
The kind of intimidation stuff.
But I mean, imagine Charlie LaDuff. He's okay. During the Kwame thing, he was very instrumental in that, right? He was asking Kwame a lot of really tough questions. Probably questions Kwame did not want to get asked. Kwame was a witness, right? He was a witness. I mean, he was on trial. He was a witness in his own case. Imagine if our witness intimidation statute that we have in this state, it basically said, if you hurt Kwame's feelings, you can be charged with witness intimidation. Because that's what it is in Massachusetts. So imagine that
it's crazy.
The same politician that Charlie's reporting on is now his regime is charging you with witness intimidation. You'd be sitting there going, I'm sorry, what? Like, this is so fucking corrupt. It's insane. And, so anyways, I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but yes, the jury has it, and we'll see where it goes. But
the good thing about those guys and I'm sure Turtle Boy is no different, but those guys that kind of make a name for themselves, like when you hang out with Charlie, if you just go drinking with Charlie, the amount of people that will come up to him and thank him for his, so you could imagine what someone like that's email inbox looks like.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, because the people that are working on, in prosecutors' offices or political government offices, they're not all on your team, and they see a lot of the bullshit, and they can't themselves go out and say something. So those guys know what they're talking about, and they can get. I know, like ML Elric, Charlie LaDuff, those guys were in. They had people for sure. That were telling them.
Oh yeah.
By the way, this is working. These guys are freaking the fuck out about your reporting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what happened here. I mean, this trial, they put Aiden on the witness list so they could prevent him from being in the courtroom or watching the trial so he could report on it.
Yeah.
He didn't even know Karen Reed when this happened in 2022. So what the fuck's he on the witness list for? Like, it's just super shady shit.
Intimidation.
Yeah.
They want to shut you up, make you stop what you're doing. The problem is you'll martyr those guys. Yeah. And they'll be just fine being martyred.
He's only grown. His following has grown. And the same thing. He says, they make me out to be this bad guy. When I go out in public, it's nothing but positive.
Yeah.
People coming up to me, they want to pay for my dinner and, thanking me for whatever. So, anyways.
No, if they can trust your word, the public knows who they can trust for the most part. They see through phoniness.
Yeah.
And those guys are treated appropriately.
Yeah.
In society. Yeah. I've seen it firsthand. It's kind of cool. It's kind of wild to see, how much they can mean to a community.
For sure. And they're really important, right? I mean, and I know I've talked about this before, but like just having, someone in my family being in the news and reading the stories and how every single news outlet got something about the story wrong.
Yep.
I was sitting there going, holy shit.
Yeah. Every story I've ever read.
Every story I've ever read probably has something wrong in it. And I'm not saying you have to be right 100% of the time, but when you know the story and so then now you're reading someone else's version of it, you're like, oh my God, that is like, so
every article I've ever been mentioned in or a part of has gotten something. It could be one sentence.
Yeah.
They will misspell my name.
Yes,
they will take a quote out of context.
Yeah.
It's happened 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone, even like, and anything I've been mentioning has all been like friendly cover.
Yeah, right.
If it was supposed to like attack dogs.
Is that my internet? Or Mike's internet?
Hold on. Mine or yours? You're back.
I can't tell. I lost you for a second.
Hold on. I forgot to tell
him to stop gaming.
Yeah, I forgot to tell Marshall. Let me just text G. Sorry, everybody. Ames, are you there?
I'm here.
There she is.
Are you there? Mike is frozen. I don't think it's me for once. It's usually me. But I don't think it's me. Well, I guess we'll just have to talk about Karen Reed some more. Oh, man. Since everybody loves it so much. Mike is gone. Mike is coming back. Do, 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 do.
All right, am I there with you right now?
Hi, Miguel.
So G just texted and Marshall said the internet went down.
Oh shit.
So if that's the
now.
case, am I back up? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Loud and clear. Loud, clear, and
we said it'll be down for 8 minutes. Leave it for now.
Yeah.
Fuck's sakes.
Ain't nobody need to be resetting.
Yeah,
routers
it's like
now.
It's like a whole 8-minute thing.
It
and
is.
I don't know what to
it's
do.
Like a huge thing.
Yeah.
You're fine now. It does. I mean, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Sorry, everybody. It's all part of it. Anyway,
Mike, have you been following that Minnesota man on thing? Oh my God.
Dude, is that right out of a movie? That fucking latex mask?
Fucking mask.
This is Okay, I actually have it as the lead.
Mike, if someone shows up on your porch in that mask, aren't you just pointing a gun out the window and shooting it?
Well,
like I feel like that's what I would do. Like, look up here, motherfucker.
2:13 in the morning, pounding on the door, yelling police.
I know.
And that if you're looking through the peephole, you got to think they were jolted awake. Like, what's going on? I don't know if you've ever had that where
I have.
Yeah. Do you want to tell? Have you told that
about like police? Being woken up by the police?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I thought you just meant like being jolted up in the middle of the night by something.
I've probably told the story, but there was one in Brighton. I happened to be staying at my parents'. It was after I had back surgery. So I was staying at my parents' house in Brighton, and I was laid up. You know, I was like, they had me moving right away, but I like had a walker for a couple of days. And then after that, it was just kind of like super ginger. You know, I could sit on the couch and just like veg out and watch TV. And all of a sudden, it was night, but it wasn't like super late. It wasn't like 2 a.m. It was like, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, something like that. Watching a movie with my mom and dad, I think. And those guys don't knock quietly. They want you to know they're there with some sort of authority. Yeah. And there was something going on in Brighton. I think I've told this story before, but there was someone in the yard somewhere, and their house backs up to a golf course. So there's kind of woodsy areas and open areas. And my mom answers the door, and it's like, oh, hi, guys. And there's like 6 cops, and they look like they're ready for some shit. Are you still with me, Ames?
Yeah. I'm listening. What is it? Mine now? I can hear you still.
Are you there?
Yeah. You didn't cut out at all. Oh, now he's cutting out. Oh, boy. I don't think that they listened to Mike about not resetting the internet right now. That's unfortunate. All right. I guess we'll have to kill some time while Mike logs back on. So what do you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about jury duty? Tell me. In all seriousness, though, this fucking Minnesota thing is so crazy. And he, I just saw that he had some Michigan politicians on his list, like Rashida Tlaib. And
wait, was I gone that whole time?
You were gone for like a minute.
I started finishing the story. It doesn't matter. But anyways, it's shockingly intimidating when cops pound on the door.
Yeah, but Mike, did they have some weird, creepy mask on?
No, but it was late, and there is a factor in the moment of like, there were like at my parents' house, like 6 cops showed up in gear.
Yeah,
and there's flashlights going through the back. Like, it was commotion, and they were looking at me through my mom. Like, who the fuck is he? Is he the guy we're looking for? And I'm straight off back surgery, and like, please don't tackle me. Like, they looked like they were going to come through the door, and like, it took some convincing. Like, no, the cripple behind me, he's fine. Don't worry about him. But yeah, I don't know if I was looking through a peephole. Like, the guy,
I feel like they were looking through cameras, through like high def cameras, not peepholes.
You think because they
I mean, anytime anybody rings my doorbell, I'm pulling it up on my app before I'm getting my fat ass out of bed.
See, I've had Ring doorbells. I don't ever remember going and looking at them. But I know most people probably do that. But if someone knocks on my door,
I think first thing I'm doing is going to the camera.
Yeah, like dogs bark and really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not my move.
It just happened the other day. It was a Jehovah's Witness. So had I gotten up, I would have been fucking Prince. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't really answer the door. I guess I don't.
Well,
now that I think about it.
That's always an option too.
I don't care who it is. If it's someone I want there, then they should announce themselves way before they show up.
Yeah.
And if you're just trolling neighborhoods, knocking on doors, trying to talk to me about God or something, like, that's not going to work.
But what's up with this psychopath?
Yeah, I don't know. Vance Bolter is his name. Went to the homes of 4 different state reps with the intention of killing them. They say on Saturday, but I think it was Friday night going into Saturday, so late night. I consider that still Friday night.
2 in the morning on Saturday, right?
Yeah. Yes. He was arrested.
Not Friday, Mike. It's Saturday.
It is Saturday, but I still consider he started his rampage Friday night. I still consider that Friday night. But for the murders of Democrat State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband and the attempted murder of Democrat
dog.
Don't even get me started.
I know.
Don't even get me started. They're talking about the
death
penalty.
I'm so pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking about Gilbert.
I'm so pissed about it.
It's Gilbert.
I know. Poor Gilbert. Look, yeah, Gilbert. Oh, Gilbert was a good boy. Yeah, but he's with his moms now, getting unlimited treats in heaven.
Yeah, he went over to Rainbow Bridge
with his mom.
He's doing great.
Yeah,
he's doing great. Poor Gilbert. They tried to save him. The more I read about Gilbert, like the human aspect of it, I was like, yeah, that sucks. We'll have to get to the bottom of this. But then when I found out about it, it's John Wick.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, someone needs to go into the jail and kill this motherfucker. I'm not advocating for violence, but you're shot to Roops.
I know. You're a fucking monster. Monster.
And you know, it's a Labrador. Like Gilbert's a Labrador. They're good guys. They're very good guys. They don't bother no one. They're friendly. Tail's always a wagging. And then when I was reading about this, that the kids had to come out and say like as soon as they found out their parents were dead, they had to make the decision about whether or not to put down Gilbert. Yeah, dude, like right after.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And they said Gilbert wasn't going to make it, you know. But then, so they adopted Gilbert. They rescued Gilbert. I still have a problem with the whole rescue thing. I really do. I have for a long time. I know it's kind of like a punchline now. You know, some comics have tapped on this, so I don't feel, you know, but I have always felt like that. Like 100%. Really, you rescued. Stop. And then when you see,
aren't we're rescuing all of them because guess what? They can't live on their own. So we're rescuing all of them. Otherwise, they would die.
Yeah. Some would do better than others, but Gilbert was a little babesy. Gilbert was a little pupsy when they got him. I've seen pictures of Gilbert. He's just a little guy, adorable. It's like rescued seems a bit much. You rescue someone that's been kidnapped. Like, that's how you you wanted a dog and you got a dog. Now, in their defense, it sounds like they were working at this Helping Paws place, kind of like what Beth and I would do, and take these guys in, these Roops. This Gilbert, so Melissa.
Oh, Diesel doesn't want to hear you toxins about Gilbert.
But we've watched videos of this, and I love this part. Gilbert's the best. Gilbert sounds like the best. So Melissa was training Gilbert to be a service dog.
Aww.
And Gilbert was going to be one of those, like, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah. That's why he was trying to protect his
Gilbert
mom and dad.
He failed everything, though. Gilbert failed out of class. He didn't do it right. And so Melissa was
gives him kisses.
Yeah, he wouldn't stop licking. He would be distracted by an errant ball. And he just wasn't cut out for life in the military or service. You know, duty called and he was like, yeah, I can't answer that call. Yeah. I just want to give face licks. And
it's like that one dog that we watched that one time.
Who was yanking people out of their wheelchairs. The best video I've seen in a long time.
That was so funny.
Outside of seeing protesters get run over by cars, it might be my favorite videos out there.
Did they have dog bites on their arms afterwards?
I don't think so. There was a lot of shattered brake lights around the protesters in that case. But none of them had dog bites. No dog bites. She trained him, but he flunked out of school. And she was so happy he failed so he could stay. Aww. He knew where his home was.
Yeah.
So the kids, let's see, who was it? One of the other senators, Kegel. Isn't that the workout? Kegel?
Those are Kegels.
Kegels. Koegel. Is that a Kegel?
I don't know if that's how it's spelled.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Aaron Kegel, member of the Minnesota House, is the one who made the quote and said that she needed him in heaven with her. This morning we learned of the tragic and senseless death of former Speaker of the House, Melissa Hortman, and her husband, Mark. She was a Helping Paws foster home trainer, a neighbor, and a friend. And they had recently raised and trained Minnie, who's now working as a service dog, partnered with a veteran. During his service, Minnie is.
Aww.
But Gilbert here, the one we were looking at a picture of, Gilbert flunked. Yeah, he flunked out. But yeah, so this guy sounds batshit crazy. I was watching a local interview on in Minnesota there, and when you see people kind of go off the deep end, whether it's depression or they're falling apart financially, like there's telltale signs, and you take one look at this guy's lawn and you're just like, yeah, that's someone that's gaved up. So something was off there at this guy's house, and he'd compiled kind of a hit list.
Yeah, he's like a fucking weirdo who probably didn't leave his basement.
Yeah.
Got all worked up about politicians. Sounds like he was trying to target some abortion clinics. And when you were gone, I was saying he had some Michigan politicians on his hit list too.
Really?
Yeah, Rashida Tlaib, Debbie Dingell, I believe.
Okay.
And there was one other one, I can't remember who.
So were they all Democrat senators?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any. This dude was not a Democrat. That's for sure.
Yeah, but he was appointed to his role by Tampon Tim.
What role?
So whatever, he had some role in the state house and was appointed by
the guy who did the shooting.
Yes. And it might have been multiple administrations, but yeah, so there was some connection
like
there.
The fucking janitor at the house?
I don't
what do you
know.
mean?
I don't know, but that's what I've heard. It was that he was appointed by Tim Walz to a position. So I don't know. They say after the shooting, Hoffman and his wife in Champaign, Minnesota, Trump supporter Bolter approached a Maple Grove legislator's home and rang the doorbell. That rep was on vacation, so he fled. Some of this stuff doesn't add up. First off, they're saying Trump supporter in this article. And then they're saying that, oh yeah, we don't know what his political motives were. I would key more in on the abortion stuff.
Yeah.
Like he seemed like he was one of these alt-right or extremist right-wing anti-abortion people.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe.
And that hence targeting all the Democrats who I'm sure he probably saw as the root of that. But
by the root.
But yeah, super fucked up and really sad and really scary. And imagine being with the politician that was on vacay. Like, holy shit, you just escaped by the grace of God.
There are some of the details of this though. Like he was in a black SUV and he had the lights flashing and he had a fake police license plate. But it wasn't. But did you see it? It looked like just a white piece of paper that said police. Like, I don't know who you would fool with that. Like it didn't. And what does that mean? You had your emergency. Like, did he have a fake red and blue, like cherry or something? Because
maybe I mean, if he was running in these circles, maybe he knew someone who would install lights on a vehicle, or maybe I don't know if it was his, maybe he stole it. What was this guy's name?
Belter, Boelter, Vance Bolter, Boelter. But it sounds like he was down the street parked. Cops were called.
Yeah.
And then a cop pulled up and went to him in this fake police vehicle and talked to him and then left. Like, wouldn't a cop recognize immediately? Like, That's not our license plate.
Well, yeah, and
These are
especially
not,
like he didn't acknowledge that person at all. It was just like,
no,
I'm just going to
looking
look
straight
forward.
ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they were called to this house. He went to this house and started shooting to get away from the cops to go into the house, and then ran out the back of the house after killing 2 people, and then was on the loose for 48 hours. Yeah, dropped the mask in his vest. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know what.
Belter works for, he works for Praetorian Guard Security, where he serves as Director of Security Patrols and has received training from U.S. military personnel. So maybe he's like worked security for some of these people before. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I had any. I didn't pull up that image of him, but yeah, terrifying. It's just so interesting how people immediately are online. They want to figure out what side he's on politically. This is Trump's America. And I was like,
maybe that's why he has that security vehicle.
What?
Because he owns that security company.
Okay. Well, that would make sense. And why maybe he did security detail at the State House.
Yeah.
Which is why Tim would have appointed him.
Belter was, it says, was served on Minnesota. Oh my God, the page just went away. Oh my God, keep talking. Go ahead.
No, what was it? What were you going to say? The governor's board or something?
I have to go back to the page. I got kicked out of it.
I'll read a commercial first. Hey, this part of the show, everybody, is brought to you by your insurance expert. Are you paying too much for health insurance? Are you uninsured? Health insurance can be confusing. Nick Matthews from Your Insurance Expert is an expert in health insurance, life insurance, and Medicare supplements, so you don't have to be. Call Nick Matthews today, 248-914-1173. Again, that's Nick Matthews at 248-914-1173. Let him help you out. Did I buy you enough time?
Yeah, it says Belter served on Minnesota Governor's Workforce Development Board, appointed by Governor Mark Dayton in 2016 and reappointed by Walz in 2019. The governor's office appoints thousands of people of all parties to these boards and commissions. Yeah. That particular board has about 60 people on it. They're unpaid external boards that the legislature creates, not appointments to positions in the governor's cabinet. However, a 2019 document shows Walz signed off on Belter's appointment, quote unquote, because of the special trust and confidence I have in your integrity, judgment, and ability.
Yeah. You know what, though? I just don't like it. It'd be easy to be like, yeah, Tim Walz seems like an absolute clown. But my guess is like, and he is, but that doesn't mean he would know anything about him. That's probably a prepared statement slid onto his desk. And it's like, yeah, we've hired the new security team. They're good. Yeah. Signs off on it.
Right.
Like, just don't. I wouldn't fault Donald Trump or Tim Walz any more than anyone else. I don't think it matters. He sounds like a right-wing, possibly abortion fanatic, one of those people.
There's crazy people on both sides.
Absolutely. But the amount of people, the usual suspects that I see on Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that are trying to pin this like, yep, this is what we expect. I'm like, slow your roll on the political violence on the right. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, stupid, insane people exist on both sides. One side seems to get a free pass, or has of late, in a lot of this stuff. And I don't think of it as the radical right wing. Sorry if I'm missing something, please tell me. But we've seen countless examples of violence. We saw it all weekend with ICE protests. Yeah. How'd
that go, by the way?
What's that?
I said, how'd that go, by the way? Is Donald Trump still the president, deporting people left and right?
I loved your tweet about that. I think he still is. In fact, Trump's got a new directive, ordered a new blitz on Democrat cities that will see huge numbers of illegal immigrants rounded up for the largest mass deportation in history. Even more ICE agents will flood some of America's biggest population centers, including LA, Chicago, New York. It represents a massive escalation and comes days after days of violent anti-ICE protests nationwide against Trump's tough immigration policies. Our nation's ICE officers have shown incredible strength, determination, and courage as they facilitate a very important mission, the largest mass deportation of illegal aliens in history. These and other such cities are the core of the Democratic power center, where they use illegal aliens to expand their voter base, cheat in elections, and grow the welfare state, robbing good-paying jobs and benefits from hardworking American citizens. I want them to focus on the cities. Biden allowed 21 million people to come into our country. Most of these people are in the cities, all blue cities, all Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen. People are very angry about this. Dude, this is literally, and I don't mean figuratively, I mean literally what the number one thing he ran on. I'm sorry that bothers you if you're a supporter on the left. Too bad.
Yeah, but Mike, how are they gonna find people to work at the hotels that they stay at?
They can come here legally, and then they can work at all the hotels they want. And you overplayed your hand. I'm sorry. There wasn't a big push. You could feel it growing and growing more in society. But what happened over the last 4 years created this. This didn't happen in a vacuum. It had to get this strong because as a result of what happened over 4 years of them. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't by accident. This was done on purpose. And I firmly believe the belief was, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Once they're here, there's nothing you can do about it. So they lied to you. They gaslit you for years.
Yeah. And then if you try to do something about it, we're going to call you racist.
Right.
While you do something about it.
Yeah. But what's going on over the weekend? People all outraged. I just don't care. And I'm glad to see, protesters being treated like this. I'm sorry. You don't put your hands on a horse, Rubes. No, fuck off. Yeah, they're waxing them. Yeah, I don't hate seeing that.
I feel like you didn't give me proper warning.
Why?
That they were going to be mean to the horses.
Oh my God, Amy, he barely even touched the horse. He wasn't mean to the horse. The horse was on the winning team. Were you looking away because that?
Yeah.
Amy, I'm going to.
I watched it. I literally watched it.
Look at him. He puts one hand like, hi, horsey, and the guy's like, whack, and smacks his hand. Watch it again. He's yelling. And the horse is like, get out of here. Bang. He got him good on the knuckles. And now you get pushed over, dick. Get out of here. No one hit the horse, though.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they're all pissed off about this. Too bad. I think there's more. You don't get to act like this in public. You don't get to act like a monster. Here's some more protesters. Yeah, okay, let's attack a car. Let's just break lights. No problem. No one's going to do anything. Yeah, man. You get run over. I'm sorry, I don't hate seeing it.
I bet that person has more than dog bites.
Did you see the broken taillight? It took a lot to break that taillight, by the way.
It sure did.
I all I see when I see these things is I don't believe these people that are out there. What was it? What was the march they did over the weekend on June 14th for No Kings?
No kings. Yeah.
No one is a king. You know that, right? No, like you're not even making sense.
Yeah.
You're not even making sense. No one's a king.
That's the thing. And Yeah, and like you're the same party that they installed the candidate without giving you a say.
like 3 times in a
But
row.
tell us more. Tell us more about how you don't want any kings when you let them essentially install one for you, and you were cool
You know
with
what
that.
this is, by the way? This is simply a tantrum to a lost election. That's all. This is still, I don't know what to do, Trump. Like, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, we're going to see this shit for the next 4 years in some fashion. Everything he does is going to engender some kind of large organized protest.
It hasn't worked,
and
though.
then he's going to continue to go on being president, and it's going to be fucking awesome. And there's not a whole lot they can do about it.
The cool thing is, though, someone has the backs of these guys. Like, imagine if this was 3 years ago and that cop whacked that dude in the knuckles and tried to say he touched my horse.
Remember when they said that they were whipping
migrants on the Rio Grande? Yeah. And it comes out, of course, they weren't. But, you're talking about a whole process and dragging people in. Don't take them at their word. Don't take us at the video. Like, the gaslighting was unprecedented. So these people, like, yes, you have a First Amendment right to protest. You absolutely do. What you don't have the First Amendment to do is to just do whatever you want. Burn cars, torch buildings, loot, hold up traffic. That's not part
Burn
of
that bitch down. Yeah, holding up traffic is next level.
And when you see a swarm of people like that one where that guy finally floored it and said, I'm out of here, my thought immediately goes to the Reginald Denny's of this, which you're probably too young to remember Reginald Denny. But he's the poor truck driver in Los Angeles when the Rodney King verdict came out, that they weren't not a verdict, but when they said they weren't charging the officers, and people took to the streets and burned that shit down. They went out and looted everything, and LA went up in flames in 94, 92. I guess that was probably 92. I think OJ was 90.
Right before
it was
OJ,
right before OJ.
94.
Yeah, 94. But Reginald Denny was the poor truck driver who happened to be at the wrong intersection, and those guys yanked him out of the car, put up and cracked him over the head with a brick. And we had the helicopter footage shooting down on that. It's like, no, I wouldn't stop my vehicle. Sorry, no, you're getting run over. Like
100%.
No, I don't know. There's something that happens with mob mentality. I know there's been studies done on this about mob mentality and how people behave differently. Like, no, you don't want to be anywhere near that stuff. And these people are held hostage in their own towns. Like,
yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, like you're getting out of my way and I'll deal with the repercussions later.
Yeah.
Like, call my attorney, Alan Jackson. He represented Karen Reed and he's based in Los Angeles.
Well, look at what's going on in Oakland. This is just like you don't have
rude and terrifying awakening early Sunday morning for people in 3 Oakland neighborhoods.
Let's film this.
It's crazy. They're just running around and it smells like straight up rubber.
Yet another series of dangerous and sometimes violent sideshows taking over the intersections at International Boulevard and 42nd Avenue, Foothill Boulevard and 55th Avenue. And
looks like a normal weekend in Oakland.
It's becoming one.
Yeah, I'm concerned about my safety and my family and stuff. We live like close by here.
It all began around 2 a.m. 3 cars were set ablaze, sending massive plumes of fire and black smoke into the sky. At least one person was critically injured. Oakland PD shutting down those intersections for hours. In the light of day, sheared off rubber, left in the streets, and
I don't think you could pull something like that in Farmington Hills. You know what I mean? I don't think you could get away with it. Like, it's been so excused. This stuff shouldn't be tolerated on any level, because the fact is there are normal families that live in the neighborhoods all around there that are just kind of held hostage. This is going on at 2:15 in the morning, and the cops aren't showing up to that because no one's had their back.
Right.
I've talked about, because I've spent a lot of time in San Francisco area, and it was sad, honestly, to see this great city kind of run into the ground. And I went into an Apple store in downtown San Francisco, and nothing went off, but they had a cop in the store. And this is around the time when it was like $1,000, steal up to $1,000 and we'll just look the other way. And so everyone was like, cool, well, up to $999 worth of merch, we can just walk out the building with. And so they had a cop there. And seeing this cop in a major metro city in America, I mean, it looked like he'd been wearing this uniform for 20 years. It's just, when clothes have just, they're worn their welcome out. They've just gone past, it was that. And then when I went outside, it was like a Crown Vic, and it looked like a 1990s Crown Vic. It probably wasn't, but the rims were rusted out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a serious cop.
Yeah, well, it's like you see those and it's like no one is taking this seriously. They're letting this criminal element run roughshod over it. And I'm sure there's nice vehicles in their fleet too. But it was just like, yeah, this just looks like such a lack of respect, such a bummer for everyone around there. And I have friends and family in that area that are like, just don't go there anymore. We just, there's plenty of nice places. California's massive. And that's what people don't understand is like, when I say there's more conservatives in California, there are a ton.
Yeah,
there's a ton. Sure. And there's tons of areas throughout California that are wonderful, beautiful areas. They just happen to have leadership at the top that, it's like, okay, so Oakland's out. Oakland used to be fun. San Francisco's basically out. You wouldn't go there at night.
They lost all their sports teams.
Yeah, right. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. The other people, it's still Pride Month, right? Pride people are hanging out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
How's that going around there?
It hasn't really, made its way into my jury duty much. So, it hasn't really been too much on my radar.
Amy, you're not on the jury and you're not an actual prosecutor or defending attorney. You don't need to focus 23 hours a day on one story. You don't.
Okay.
You don't. What are you doing?
Don't make me call you a cunt.
That's fine. You look like a
I'm fucking sweating, Mike. I'm schwitzing. I'm sweating, and I don't know why. I don't fucking know why. Okay, but I'm trying not to be rude and just up and leave and go downstairs where it's cool. So
you look like one of those Southern belles. Oh my word!
Yeah, I need a fan, a legit.
Can't you get Rocky off camera to fucking fan you and feed you grapes, make you happy?
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, I was we as a country have lived in this place for with the illegals where until you pushed it too far, now it has to be dealt with, right? We all went, and we all kind of looked the other way. It was like, yeah, there's some gardening work and some good work going on, and certain areas of the country, and then you decided to let somewhere between 10 and 30 million people crash your country and start waving Mexican flags around and rioting when you told them, time for you to go, pal. You can get to a point where you can wear out a welcome and you can have people turn against you. Their support of you. It doesn't mean they hate you because of this or that. It's just, well, you took an inch and ran a mile with it, and now it needs to be dealt with. The gay community with their pride parade shit is getting dangerously close to that, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people have been too afraid to say anything, just like, how fast this, like, what do you hate illegals? What do you hate gay people? Like all the accusations that get thrown at you. So people don't want to say anything. And I've often, hey, the T's are becoming a problem for the L's, the G's, and the B's. So you need to stand up and say something. Women need to say something about dudes in their sport. That's, and I think it's starting to happen. I was reading this article from Jillian Michaels today, which I thought was interesting. And she says, I've never been proud to be gay, Despite being openly gay, a public figure, the truth is I'm proud of my accomplishments, things I fought for, my career, my family, my grit, not the things I am by default. Being gay isn't a merit badge. It's a fact of my existence. And that's why I've always had a complicated relationship with Pride Month. When I was a teen in the 90s, being gay meant living with shame, not pride. It meant keeping your truth under wraps to avoid being bullied, rejected, or worse. Back then, gay rights weren't just limited, they were almost non-existent. We couldn't marry, we couldn't adopt. Most of the country still associated us with AIDS. Well, some still do, men anyway. Right? Like,
I didn't give him those AIDS.
And when he had those AIDS,
I told him.
Do you think people still do that? Think of it. I mean, it's a gay men's disease.
Yeah, 100%. That's what the first thing people think about when they hear that someone has AIDS.
Yeah, right.
100%.
You still think with Magic Johnson, like, you slipped a dude's ass in there somewhere. I know you did.
Yeah.
Like something. Yeah. I don't know what, but something.
Yeah.
So most of the country still associated us with AIDS, and some still do, Jillian. I'll be honest with you, especially with men, not lesbians. No one thinks lesbians and goes, "Ooh, I wonder if they got that AIDS." No one's ever said that.
Right.
You were a punchline at best, a pervert at worst. Being gay wasn't cool. It was dangerous. The original Pride wasn't a party. It was a protest. It grew out of the Stonewall Uprising in '69 when a brave gay men and women finally said enough. They fought back against brutality, invisibility, erasure. Pride parades became a vehicle for visibility, a way to commemorate those lost to hatred, disease, and silence. It was defiance in the face of rejection. It was necessary. That was then. This is now. Today, you can marry whoever you want, adopt, run for office. You have legal protections, public support. Many are not just tolerated, they are embraced, celebrated, and platformed. In some circles, they are practically untouchable. Pride Month has ballooned into a 30-day spectacle that now feels less about unity and more about domination, cultural, corporate, and political. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling it's turned into too. You know?
Yeah.
This isn't 1992 anymore. We're not fighting for survival. We're fighting for relevance. And it shows. Pride Month today has become a lightning rod, not because gay people are asking to be treated equally, but because the month has become synonymous with shock value, sexual exhibitionism, and corporate hypocrisy. We've all seen the footage, leather daddies and assless chaps simulating sex acts in public, drag queens twerking in thongs in front of children, parades that look more like adult fetish conventions. I'm all for sexual liberation, but not on a sidewalk in broad daylight. We're told Pride is about inclusion, but increasingly it feels like a middle finger to anyone who doesn't co-sign every fringe performance or ideology. If you so much as raise an eyebrow, it's what's happening. You're labeled a bigot, even if you're gay yourself. What's worse, it's become corporatized to all hell. And she goes on and talks about all the stuff we've talked about. We say pride is about belonging, but today it often looks more like tribalism, where every dissenting voice, even from within the community, is vilified. And ironically, it's made pride more divisive than ever. Instead of inviting people in, we're pushing them out. Instead of celebrating how far we've come, we're flaunting how little we care about what anyone thinks, even if it undermines our own cause. I'm falling into that category, that you're doing that to me. Someone who has proudly been a friend and not foe. I've talked about Fabergé, my buddy that I waited tables with at Olive Garden, who was as outward queen as you could get. I thought he was fucking hilarious. And this goes back to before 1992, probably 1989 or 90. When I would let Fabergé invite him to all our parties, and people were like, "What the fuck is that?" I was like, "That's Fabergé. He's fabulous. He's hilarious." So that's kind of what I see. I don't know if you feel that too, Ames. Drew and I were driving to the Tiger game. We went to the Tiger game on Saturday against the Cubs, and so he was driving, and we were going down Woodward. And there's on a corner there, I don't even know what city, probably getting into out of Ferndale and
Ferndale
maybe, but two fucking fat, shirtless, thonged, grown-ass men in rainbow thongs, like with 1 foot on Woodward, just waving pride flag. And it was just like, it was shocking. As I drove, I was just like, dude, put it away. Dick hanging out basically in rainbow underwear. It's like, what are we doing? Is this where we've gotten to? Like, I'm all supportive of the San Francisco Jacks. I think that's been well established over the years. I don't think Jerry belongs on a fucking public street with the San Francisco Jacks for all the families to hang out with. I don't think Jerry.
We paused all public decency laws that we have on the books during Pride Month. It's not even so. I don't have a. It's not that people who are gay are wearing me down. That's not the case.
No.
Like, again, because I don't give a fuck what you do. What the people who are wearing me down are the perpetual victims. That's what I can't stand. Like, you guys got everything. You have everything. Yeah. You can be you and no one's going to fucking bother you about it. So now you're just pretending to be a victim because for some reason in this world that we live in today, it's better to be a victim than it is to be, independent, strong, successful. It's better to be a weak victim who relies on the government and who relies on everybody to feel bad for them and to pay for them. That's who I have an issue with.
Yeah.
Like, just go be fucking you and don't play the victim with me because you're not. You're not one.
I totally know what you're saying, and it's used as a weapon. I think that's what Jillian is talking about in her article. I don't want to live in a society where it's like, I can't have an argument with you as a fellow human being. We can't have that because you're this protected group. Like, no, That's not equal on any level. I don't know who that benefits, but that's what you see. It's we showed video of it before I was gone last week when Pride Month kicked off. And it's like, 10 almost naked guys with their balls in a fucking tiny little bikini strap, flaunting and gyrating for, families. Like, okay, what are you just like daring someone to say something to find this over the line I don't think that's appropriate for any group of people,
Yeah. Right.
I thought it was funny. Have you seen Jeff Dye, any of his stuff? He is so fucking funny, man.
I'm not sure.
Jeff is hilarious. If you haven't paid attention, he was supposed to come do the Detroit cast and we had a snowstorm that knocked out power. He was on his way over and power got knocked out. So I still text with Jeff and he's blowing up now. So he should be friend of show and he's less friend of show because of the power going out in Franklin at the time. But here, I'll give you a taste of him. I think he sums it up pretty well.
Overcorrection. That's how we got ourselves in this position. Everything's a big overcorrection, right? We used to be very sexist. Now instead of just treating women as equals, we just overcorrect. Just they're the best. They're not to be teased or criticized. Just the women are better than everything. Just lie to them. They're just as good at sports as we are, and they're don't treat them as an equal. Just overcorrect. Right? We used to be racist. Now just any person of color can do no wrong. You'd rob a fucking liquor store, shoot a guy. They're like, well, systematically, it's really. It'd be racist to accuse him of what he's done. We used to be homophobic, so now we just now we've got to be like, oh my God, he's sucking a dick. Give him a parade. Holy shit, look at him butt fucking everybody, guys. I have 10 friends who butt fuck. That's how many friends. Look, I got a little flag for my. It's ridiculous. Just treat people good and normal. You don't have to do the overcorrecting. It's very gross. I think it started with someone very well intentioned, Like it started with just probably some liberal person who was like, wouldn't it be beautiful if all the shapes and sizes and colors and genders and all the sexualities and all the countries, wouldn't it be beautiful if they were all the religions, they were just all in one place, Right? And then you go to a place that's doing that, like Times Square, and you're like, fuck this. What the fuck is he eating? What's she wearing? I miss my group.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. It reminds me of did you see that Carl Nassib? He was the first openly gay, quote unquote, NFL player, that white dude.
Yeah, was he a Raider? He was a Raider.
Yeah, fucking object to them saying that, because I vividly remember being forced against my will, as if someone had pried my eyes open with toothpicks, to watch Michael Sam get drafted in like the 8th fucking round.
Yeah, they added a round just so he could get
literally
drafted.
added a round so I could watch Michael Sam make out with his boyfriend at his house.
Yeah.
And so Carl Nassib, I saw to kick off Pride Month, one of his game worn jerseys is being hung in the Smithsonian.
Stop.
Swear to God.
Dude, do you have any idea? There's probably been dozens, if not hundreds, because the amount of actual NFL players in the NFL in history is probably only like 10,000, believe it or not. There's probably hundreds of guys that have been gay before him that just, the climate politically in this country wasn't there. What Jillian's talking about.
Right.
So Carl gets to be the hero for all of them. And Michael Sam just couldn't make the roster. He just wasn't good enough. And then it became a thing like, what are you, homophobic? How dare you? Are you going to cut Michael Sam? It's like, yeah, there's 52 coveted spots on this team. I'm sorry.
Right.
Good for him. I'm glad he loves cock, but no, we can't hold a spot for him.
Like, imagine you're in the fucking Smithsonian because you took dick in your butt. That's why you're in the Smithsonian.
Is that what the plaque says underneath his jersey?
It says, defensive end Carl Nassib of the Las Vegas Raiders wore this jersey on September 13th, 2021, when he became the first openly gay player to take the field in a regular season game.
Yeah.
That's what he's in the museum for.
Yeah. Michael Sam couldn't get in the regular season. Yeah.
That is...
Because he likes dick. Let's just be honest.
Because he likes dick.
He puts panooses in his mouth.
He's in a museum.
Yeah.
His game-worn jersey. Did he take dick in that jersey? If he has not worn that jersey while taking dick, I don't fucking want it in the museum.
Yeah.
Because other than that, what relevance does it have?
It has none relevance. I just don't think that's being rewarded like people think. Like, oh my God, how brave. How awesome of you.
But
people are pushing back.
Kind of what Jill is saying. She's like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
Carl Nassib was not a good football player, BTW.
He was okay. He was okay.
He's not playing anymore. I mean, he's not in the NFL anymore.
I think he played as a defensive end for a couple years with the Raiders and then maybe got traded to Cleveland.
I think Tampa Bay.
Potty mouths. I know, dude. I'm so sorry, Jeff.
No.
We do have potty mouths.
No. What we're not going to do, Mike, is apologize to Jeff for fucking swearing.
Why, Jeff? We swear a lot.
Jeff.
It's don't say fuck Jeff. Jeff's new to the group.
No. Jeff's not new to the group. Jeff's here because he wants to troll about Karen Reed. That's the only reason Jeff's here. So we don't fucking apologize to Jeff.
See, you're letting him in your kitchen.
Oh, no, and I'm just saying, we don't.
I can speak for me, and I do feel bad whenever I listen back to clips and stuff. I'm like,
you're such a pussy.
Why? I am.
That is such bullshit.
It's partly a crutch when I'm trying to find the word and show how fucking angry I am. I'll throw them in, and I'm like, yeah, you're better than that, but I'm not better than that.
What?
And I enjoy swearing anyway.
So what do you mean you're better than that? What is that? What does that even mean? What does that mean? What you just said?
I don't even know, but when I hear it, I'm like, all right, enough. You have a potty mouth. Enough.
Why?
You don't need to be, because you sound less intelligent, and then people can potentially dismiss what you're saying.
Like
Jeff just did. Jeff just dismissed us completely.
I don't want Jeff to fucking think about anything that I say ever. Like literally ever. So fuck
Why?
Jeff.
Because he thinks Karen Reed's guilty?
No, because he thinks I have a potty mouth, and I don't. So I will say fuck you to Jeff literally all day, every day, because what you're not going to do is tell me how to speak.
Yeah.
So that's like what you're not going to do. And I don't give a fuck if it hurts your feelings. Like, I just don't. In fact, I went on a little rant about this yesterday because what drives me insane, these people will be streaming murder trials on their YouTube channel. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to say the word fuck. I don't want to say the word because just in case you're watching this with your kids. Well, if you're watching a murder trial with your fucking kids, are we caring that you're the word fuck?
Well,
really?
The problem is this show's been billed as a kid's show since day one. And so I feel like a sort of responsibility. Partly. Yeah.
Fuck your
the
kids.
gay thing, the thing I worry about, and I'm not saying, because this is obviously an extreme case, and this is going to bum Jeff out right away. It's probably going to bum you out,
Jeff
Amy,
probably will. I bet Jeff owned a Carl Nassib jersey.
I bet he writes back and goes, no, I didn't.
No, I so didn't.
Jersey.
Nuh-uh. Yeah, only when he switched numbers. Then I had his jersey.
These are the things I worry about. And I know I'm kind of out there. And I can make rash decisions like, see, what did you expect? This is what you fucking get. I can do that. When you overcorrect, what Jeff Dye was talking about, you can do that. And I'm seeing that when it's like, yeah, it's not a shock to me that when you add the T in there and act like we can't say anything or be deemed a transphobe, and then you see, the cases that don't get much coverage outside of the Times of India, when it's like, yeah, what did you expect? Dolly McFuckerstein,
oh my God, Mike, don't say that word. It hurts my feelings.
Has child porn all over their phone. And, last week they were reading to your kindergarten class. Doesn't shock me when you have to take the kid gloves off and go, I don't know, someone that's dressing up in like the most gaudy woman face ever might have a screw loose here and there. Maybe want to look into him. Well, there's a former teacher. Teachers, just such good press. Hi, Vic. I hope you're listening. It's such good press. I'd like to read one story just once in a while that's like, teacher, entire classroom graduates with honors, and off to college they go. But no, none of them are. Former teacher accused of murdering the baby he and his husband or boyfriend, fiance, were trying to adopt.
I saw that.
Jamie Varley, 36, was in the process of adopting 13-month-old Preston Davey. This is back in 23. That can't be good when we're hearing about the story 2 years later.
Yeah, right.
With a co-accused John Fizzackerly, who also appeared in court on Monday. Members of the child's family sat yards away in the public gallery alongside cops. Varley is accused of murder, manslaughter, 2 counts of assault by penetration of a child.
So when does he get hung in the Times Square? Because I'm going.
Yeah. That's what I want to know too. You killed the baby by penetration?
That is so fucked up.
Look at that little guy.
Oh.
Look at that cherub face.
Poor little guy.
Yeah. They were he's accused of 10 counts of taking indecent photographs of that little guy, distributing photos of that little guy, possessing. I need your help here. You're kind of a lawyer at this point, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
I mean, you've been to enough school. You graduated from somewhere in Massachusetts, I think, but you've gotten a swift education.
I went to the same education Kim Kardashian has, and she just graduated from law school. So yeah, I'm basically a fucking lawyer.
Possessing indecent pseudo images of a child. What the hell does indecent pseudo images of a child mean?
Indecent pseudo images?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Both stories. I have multiple stories about this case. It's not being covered on NBC News, but where you do find this story, they both mentioned these charges of indecent pseudo images of a child. I don't even know what that means.
Like AI images?
1 count of possession of an extreme pornographic image. I can only assume that means something to do with the penetrative thing.
Yeah.
Holy
boy,
shit.
what takes it to to the next, like that must be really fucking deranged.
Yeah. So police investigation first began after officers were called to the hospital at 7:15 back on July 27th of 23. After the baby was brought in unresponsive, Preston was pronounced dead a short time later. Varley was suspended as a teacher. So that's good. They got on that, took it seriously.
Yeah. He's probably just suspended pending investigation.
And I know this is to a shocking level, and you don't want to act like the extremes are normal and that insane people aren't of all walks of life, right? Whether that's conservative, Democrat, gay, straight, or not. But when you see the people that have passed and are like, yeah, we're having So-So, the go-go dancing queen, read to children, and if you have a problem with it, the problem is you. It makes you wonder. It makes me wonder: were these people properly vetted? Or did they get an auto pass because being gay is the greatest thing ever? How could we deny a gay couple a baby? I mean, we just have to give them one. They want one, give them one. I don't know. But I got to think that it wouldn't take too much digging into people that are capable of this type of behavior to see that something's a little off balance. That's just me. And I know it's not fair to take the most extreme case and pin it on all people in the community. But that's the problem with DEI in general that we've seen so many times where it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. When you start putting anything other than merit in charge of who your pilot's going to be, it makes people question whether they got there on merit or, extreme skill, or if there was some weight added to that story because you're trying to make numbers. By 2030, we want 50% of our pilots to be female, that one airline said. It was like, okay, well, it seems like you're going to have to just kind of push some people through. The fire department, where was that, in LA? When the extreme fire's going off and it's like, you're on video in uniform talking about how it's just a total injustice that at least 50% of the firefighters aren't female. It's like, seems like your priorities are elsewhere. Well, you're going to get that everywhere. And it's like, I don't know, man. These stories, like, it seems like people that are engaged are that depraved that they could, excuse me, Jeff, fuck a baby to death.
So fucked up.
There might have been something in their social media, in something in the vetting process that would have said, yeah, maybe not these people.
And did you say that the baby's family was in court?
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Okay. Yeah. Got questions about
members of the baby's family, but if you've got a young person giving up a child for adoption, that could mean a lot of things. But yeah, that stood out to me too. It was like,
it seems like generally if you've got enough family to like pack a courtroom, maybe you've got someone that will keep the baby. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm. What
could that be? Could that be?
Where was this? Where was this at?
This was in Europe.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I don't know what they get for that. Is that 5 years crime? Is that?
Seriously, they'll probably be out.
I know murder doesn't get them life. Like, you're not. This screams like, no, you castrate them before you hang them, just to send a message.
Correct.
Right?
That's the only solution.
Just hanging them publicly. Like, you're talking about babies here. You're talking about a baby. Like,
correct.
And so depraved.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that.
No.
Mike, did you
What?
Did you see that Air India plane crash?
I did.
That was fucking crazy.
Yes. Did you want to talk about it?
How did you mean to tell me one person just randomly walked away from that?
Did you see the video of him?
I've got questions. Yeah, he just kind of like appears. It's so crazy to me.
Look, okay, let's watch the video. So, or should we do the details of the story first? Oh no.
Okay, and like BTW, India is probably the last place you want to be in a plane crash.
Why?
Because first of all, there's fucking people everywhere. And 2, like as soon as this plane crashes, I mean, there's just a million people trampling the scene. They've got their cell phones out. They're walking all amongst the, wreckage. And there's like, did you see the video of the decapitated head on the street? And everyone's like around taking a photo of it.
Yeah, of course they are.
And then there was like just a completely charred body on a stretcher. And people are just recording it with their phones. Like generally in the United States, if a plane crash like this happens, you're generally setting up like a perimeter so the town people can't trample the scene and take pictures of decapitated heads.
Yeah. I remember being in California when I was on vacation visiting my grandma when Northwest Flight 255 happened. And I was probably 12. I was a little kid. And I remember the news stories had reached there. It was like this huge national story. That plane took off from Detroit Metro when Northwest was still an airline and crashed almost immediately on the freeway. I can't remember. Was it
94?
94, one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were the country was appalled at the time that there were locals on the ground that were like rummaging through luggage and like a stolen wallet.
It
was
God.
Like it shook the conscience of the nation at the time. Like, what the hell is going on in Detroit that you could have such depravity?
Yeah.
And now it's like they need to rope it off because people are filming it all and stealing everything they can. It's crazy. So, but
Mike,
this guy,
person's head fell off.
Yeah.
Like there's a head in the street, and then this person's just like,
I didn't see that. I don't want to see that, but what do you think that death would be like?
Getting decapitated? Hopefully quick.
Yeah. So my flight to
or do you realize it and you're like, holy shit, my head is flying and it's not attached to my body?
Yeah, I think you'd recognize that for 8 seconds, I think they say, but you couldn't tell anyone. So you take that to your grave with you, I think.
My God, my head's detached from my body.
Yeah. When I was flying to Detroit, as soon as we got off the air, like you had the gate, what are the male attendants, the gay dudes that work at the airlines?
Sky waiters.
There's the sky waitresses, and then there's the males. But anyway, they were doing all the intercom stuff, and then as soon as we got in the air, there was this female voice that was like, "Yeah, welcome all aboard Delta. Thanks for flying with us. We'll be cruising at an altitude of this, and looks like clear skies going into Detroit." And I was like, "It's happened. I've got one of those pilots."
Yeah.
And the whole flight, it was like, "Oh my God, I hope she didn't get an argument with some dude earlier today. Like, fuck me." Like, and then when we were coming in for landing, she landed like she was angry at the ground. Like she got into it and she remembered this ground doing something to her years ago. I was like, "Fuck you, ground."
That's
Came
funny.
in hot. We didn't bounce. We didn't roll over like that one. The chicks were flying, but yeah. That's what I dealt with. But I was wondering then, like, what would it be like if you died in an airplane? Like, does it automatically explode and everybody dies? Because if it does, that's cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I know. Or like, do you know that it's happening? I mean,
I don't know.
This guy apparently just fell out of the fucking sky and just like landed.
Yeah, you're talking about Vishwash. Vishwash.
I am. Yes, Vishwash.
Vishwash Ramesh. Oh yes.
Dishwash.
Dishwash here. This son of a bitch. There's got to be more to this story. Look at this, Roops. Get out of the plane. It crashed.
It's that guy in the white.
Yeah, in the back. Do you think that
Truthfully, I do not believe that this guy was on the plane.
I don't either.
I feel like he was on the ground. How do they know? He just stumbled out and he's like, "I was on the plane," and they were like, "Okay."
Yeah. I mean, his brother was on the plane, apparently. He was in, if you're looking for your lucky seat, 11A is apparently the miracle seat where you can just walk away.
Yep. I heard another story of someone else who survived a plane crash in 11A.
Yeah, baby Jessica was the Flight Northwest. Or no, Jessica was the well girl.
Yeah,
there was a baby.
Yeah, there was a kid on that flight. I feel like that survived.
Yeah, there was a baby on the Northwest one.
Yeah,
and I think she grew up all kinds of fucked up. I think she had drug problems. I shouldn't say that unless we look it up. But I thought they've caught up with her years later.
Yeah, baby Jessica was the well baby.
She was the well baby. Maybe she's got the problem. I don't remember. But she literally put CNN on the map.
Well, let me tell you, baby Jessica. It says she's happy, healthy, and rich, while her parents and their Texas town have learned painful. So what? She's just like fucking rich now.
There's probably been so many movies like,
yeah,
and name, image, likeness stuff that I don't know. Maybe she's got an OnlyFans that kills it, but but yeah, she put CNN on the map.
She's not cute.
No,
baby Jessica.
That's a terrible thing to say. Let me see. She was cute when she was a baby.
I know, but the well did some damage.
Did it? Let me see. She's rich. Keep that in mind. So it's not bad. Let me see the one in the blue shirt.
That's what I'm trying to pull up.
She looks a little Texas homely, but
a little.
Oh, come on. Don't take... Well, yeah. Yeah, I remember that firefighter or whoever that guy is.
Mike.
Yeah, it's... I'm not a bully, okay? Yeah.
Are you trying to, act right in front of Jeff Williams?
No. God, no. Who was the one that fell out of the plane in Detroit? Because someone lived through that too. There was a little girl that lived through that. So this footage is new of the Air India crash, walking away calmly from the wreckage. I have too many questions myself. Celia
Chichan. Now Cecilia Crocker.
Okay.
Is she a looker? Survivor. Soul survivor.
Is she a looker?
Let me see, Mike.
How old is she now? That must have been 40 years ago.
She looks like maybe
illegal?
She lost or gained, maybe she gained an extra chromosome during the plane crash.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, she's kind of cute.
Yeah.
That's the girl, yeah.
You know?
Looks like a decent rack, someone said. I didn't. But
she's got a plane tattooed on her wrist.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, look at that crash right there. I mean, you can almost envision where that's at, can't you?
Yeah, right by the airport.
Yeah, Middle Belt.
Is that Middle Belt? Is that where that was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was on the freeway.
Well, Middle Belt and the freeway. Middle Belt is an exit off of 94.
It is.
So
Middle Belt isn't the freeway. Yeah, it was 94. So Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, 40-year-old British national, survived after escaping from seat 11A. If you can get that seat, after getting out through the emergency door, he'd been in India with his brother AJ for the past year, shown talking on the phone as he walks away from the blazing inferno. I think he was just in that apartment.
100%.
I think he was. He might have been in the courtyard on the phone.
Yeah,
and then just walked out like, "Holy shit, what's going on over here?" Like,
right?
No, he doesn't look like someone that just popped out of seat 11A.
Right.
So, if they were en route to London Gatwick Airport, the plane exploded. One man can be heard yelling. Ramesh's brother, who was sitting next to him, bad luck seat 12A. You don't want to be in 12A. She was sitting next to him on the Boeing 787, was among 270 people so far confirmed to have died. Vishwas admitted it was a miracle that he had survived in an interview from his hospital bed with a local outlet there in India. The emergency door was broken. My seat is broken. He added that he had not jumped from his seat, as was earlier reported. I just walked out. He is having minor injuries only. He has some abrasions over left forearm and over the eyes. He has all these cuts on his forearm like a
dog bites.
It's crazy. Craziest thing you've ever seen. Yeah. The patient is vitally stable. Yeah. Again, look at that video. Like, I want to see it one more time. What were you doing, Big Bob? He's fine. I just don't believe it.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, I kind of call bullshit on that too. I suppose anything's possible. No single cause has yet emerged to explain the crash, although catastrophic loss of engine power is increasingly seen as the most likely cause. It's believed they reached an altitude of just 450 feet before it came crashing back down to Earth. They have found both black boxes. And so I can tell you what the black boxes are going to say anyways. It's going to be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
I heard that they were saying like Mayday, power loss, or something like that. And I think that's when they crashed. Yeah, that is super fucked up. And like also crazy. And I just feel like that guy was in one of the apartment buildings and he wasn't.
Yeah. There's more to that story.
There has to be.
Yeah, he was banging someone he shouldn't have, and he knows he's on video.
Yeah, totally.
And he's got to explain why he's in the background at her apartment. And it's like,
he's
no.
No, I was on the plane with my brother.
11A.
See, here's my boarding pass. I did see like there was a family, like 2 people and then 3 of their kids who were moving to London permanently because of his job. And they were all on the plane together. And then I saw another guy who had gone to London to spread his wife's ashes. And then he was flying back to be home with his kids. And now he's dead. So like both the parents are gone. It's sad.
Yeah, I look at these stories always, whether it's 9/11 or this one. You got to look for the silver linings and things. And I guarantee there was a monster on that plane that we don't have to deal with anymore.
Yes.
If you're looking for, you put 270 human beings in anything, I guarantee one of them, someone is happy. Like, what a miracle.
Yeah. Totally. For sure.
You just hope it wasn't Vishvash.
I was just going to say it's probably him.
You know what I mean? Think about it. There had to be just percentage wise when 9/11, when those towers were coming down, there had to be some abused wife somewhere in Staten Island going, please tell me Pete was fucking still in that building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Say my nightmare is over.
For sure. No. Yeah.
Definitely. So if you're looking for silver linings, definitely. I'm always looking for those. All right. Should we do an email or two?
Oh, sure. I thought we covered those early on in the show, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Just the anti-Amy ones. They're not anti-Amy. They're more like, fuck Karen Reed. They're like Jeff. They're here to troll
I got to tell you. If you think that Karen Reed hit John with her car, like this is my new barometer of whether or not I think you're stupid.
I like this. I saw your tweet about this.
If you think Karen Reed was guilty, that's all I need to know about you. That is literally all I need to know about you, because I just know now that you are not a smart person. You're stupid. You don't listen to reality. And I frankly want to have nothing to do with you. So
what if Jeff is fucking awesome in every other way?
He's not. He's stupid. Jeff's stupid. Clearly.
You think Jeff's stupid?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
If he thinks that John O'Keefe was hit with a vehicle, I think Jeff's stupid. And I think anybody who thinks that is stupid.
What if I think that?
I think you're stupid.
Really? Like forever? Yeah. There's no coming back from that? No amount of education can fix that. No amount of
not
being on the same side with you.
You're right. I realize, Amy, that And you know what? Coming off the heels of this plane crash story, this is actually a perfect segue.
The Vishvash
People
story.
like Jeff Williams and other people on Twitter who think that Karen Read is guilty are using this that dishwasher guy as proof that, well, all the other people on the plane died, which is like what you usually expect from a plane crash, but dishwasher walked away from it. So, I mean, John could have walked away from being hit with a 6,000-pound vehicle without any broken bones and only dog bites on his arm. You don't know. Dishwasher survived.
Yeah.
That's what people like Jeff are hanging their fucking hats on these days.
They're making a compelling argument because, I mean, dishwasher did walk right. You saw it.
Yeah.
He was on the phone already.
Yeah.
Like, even his phone was fine. He was getting service and everything.
That's the other thing. Like, okay, the plane literally fucking exploded and you walked away with your cell phone?
Yeah. And he was already on a call.
And it was working? Who were you talking to, sir?
He's probably calling his old man saying, me and whoever, Kumar, are going to be late.
Kumar.
You know?
You're so racist, Mike.
Yeah. I know. I think that was Vishvash's middle name. I'm not even joking.
Dishwasher Kumar.
Dishwasher. Yeah. Dishwasher Kumar Ramesh. Yep. Lady Isis. All right, Lady Isis. Which athletes did you bang? Come on, spill the beans. I'll tell you. It was Robert Porsche.
I don't know. I don't think there were any.
None?
Where's my fan?
Your fan? He's
getting
the same as
hot
Jeff
up in here. Not my actual fan.
No, we need to get into that. What is this talking about? This must be old. For fuck's sakes. Okay, so Epstein. I don't remember when we were talking about Epstein last. He was Mossad. The Jews have all the dirt on everyone, mainly because of their boy who didn't kill himself. Bongino. Pfft, he has zero integrity. Protected Obama. If he was a moral man, he'd have resigned and gone into the private sector. Let the anti-American, anti-gun libtards protect their own. Oh, James.
I mean, same. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is there anybody that you'd trust?
This must have been on the heels of Bongino and Kash Patel saying that he killed himself. Epstein killed himself.
And that we're supposed to be getting that video.
We still haven't seen that, have we?
No, of course not.
Yeah. And Bongino protecting Obama, like, I have respect for that.
Totally.
You got a job to do. I think he was a protectee of, protector of Hillary Clinton as well. I think he was Obama's.
Just, like, let our politicians die because we don't like them. That's
no.
That's like not how it works. Maybe in India, but not here.
And I like that these guys historically, until James Comey,
right?
You didn't get any whiff of a political side from them.
Yeah.
Like they were pros. They didn't speak. They didn't talk shit. They didn't tell stories. They didn't. Bongino has let more and more out as he's got more into the broadcasting side of things and become more of a personality himself. But his whole time in the Secret Service or police, I think he was a New York City cop at one point. Like, no, there was no issue then. And he was just a pro's pro. Yeah, which one is it? Which one is it?
Come here.
Miggy,
come here. Come give me hugs. Come give me hugs.
Oh, hi, Migs. Face licks.
Piggy.
Oh, look at Miggy.
Yeah, that's Miggy Piggy.
Miggy, you are a piggy.
Yeah, that's Miggy Piggy.
He's big. Walters at DetroitCast.com. If you'd like to send an email for us to read, you can shit on Amy if you want. Shit on me.
Please do it directly. Send me a DM at MAGA Barbie 317. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. And what will be the mood if things don't go your way and they go Jeff's way in this trial?
It's
what do you think?
Literally not going to happen. the only option is a hung jury, which I guess Jeff would probably be happy with and I would be disappointed with, but they're not going to find 12 people to convict her.
I thought I heard, okay, we don't see any way of convicting her based on what's happened. Although this doesn't look good, that the defense brought up these two people and acted like there was a conspiracy and then didn't call them on the stand.
No, they didn't act like there was a conspiracy. They simply said Michael Proctor didn't do his job. And oh, by the way, for the retards out there, it's actually not the defense's job to prove anything to you.
Absolutely. No, that's true.
They don't have to call anybody to the stand.
If they did in their opening statements, they in this piece I said wasn't saying anything one way or the other. They were just talking about kind of the different tactics that each side went through versus the first trial. And how they changed.
It was a very different trial. And yeah, I mean, they played the video of Brian Higgins and Brian Albert and argued that the police didn't investigate him, which they didn't. You know, they don't have to call them to the stand to prove anything. But what they did prove is nobody investigated anyone other than Karen Reed. That was wrapped up after a couple hours. So
it'll be interesting. Do you want this to be the jury to be deliberating for days, or do you think it's better?
Comes back tomorrow?
Yeah. Are you surprised that it didn't come back today?
No, not really. I mean, maybe I just feel like I know so much about it that it would be so easy for me. But when you actually, you hear the jury instructions and the charges and what you have to consider, and I think it takes time to go through all that. And also, like I said, these people haven't been able to talk to each other at all about this, so there's a lot of fuckery that happened that I imagine they probably want to chat about. Also, the foreman of the jury is a black guy with dreads, and he wears like a big chain and a sweatshirt to court. So
really?
He's the jury foreman.
Okay.
So
what does that mean? What are you thinking?
I just don't think my people are not going to let down Karen Reed. Like, that guy is not sitting there watching all of this police corruption and being like, yeah, that bitch did it. No.
So what do you think happens afterwards? Say she's not convicted. Do you think she turns into one of those media darlings doing interviews?
Oh yeah, she'll definitely do that. I mean, there'll be series, there'll be movies. I mean, this is like the biggest, it's huge. I mean, everybody fucking, Uncle Jesse, what's his name? The guy who played Uncle Jesse on Full House.
Stamos?
Stamos. Like, Stamos is like in the chats with us. Like, he's watching it. Fucking, it's like reached it's crazy. People are just so super into it. So,
yeah.
And you know what else I was thinking? I mean, if you're a juror, I mean, the amount of times people mentioned the first trial while they were on the stand. So if you're a juror, you already know there was a first trial. You know that there's media everywhere. You know it's on the news every night. You know that there's 500 supporters of hers outside that courtroom. You know that this is like a nationwide story.
Are they sequestered?
No.
They're not. Yeah.
No.
So, and they're in that area. They know everything.
There's
no way they don't.
They have to. And they're young, Mike. There's like 5 people on the jury that are under 30.
Really?
There's a couple. There's one that's like 19. He's like fresh out of high school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So like, you're telling me that when he pulls up his TikTok, he's not seeing Karen Reed shit?
Yeah. Well, they're being told not to, but there's no way that dude's not hearing stuff from his buddies.
Yeah. And I've been tweeting at them every day.
At who? The jurors?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the judge is always like, jurors, be careful with your social media. Don't do any independent research. Don't talk to anybody about it. So I just do a tweet that says, jurors, be careful with your social media. Oh, by the way, blah, 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 blah,
FKR.
blah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the FBI is the other agency that everybody's referring to that they're not allowed to mention.
You're cheating. You're trying to cheat.
You know.
All right. You're far enough away.
Yeah.
All right, Ames.
I'm not, just in case people like fucking Jeff try to get me, I'm not trying to influence the jury. Okay. It
sounds like it.
I'm kidding around. So fucking calm down.
Yeah.
Michael Proctor.
The judge can't get mad at you for tweeting about it or tweeting at anyone. Like, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
It's on them not to pay attention to that stuff.
It is.
What
You're
the
right,
public
Mike.
is saying is, I mean, do you think people weren't talking during the OJ stuff?
Right.
The whole world was talking about it.
And like, imagine your spouse being on the jury. One chick's pregnant. Like, imagine you go home every day and like you're just not talking to your significant other about it. Give me
I
a
know.
break.
I don't believe that for a second. There was
Not
a
a
time when I
second.
did, when people, I believe that people were upstanding and had a responsibility and took it seriously. My dad would be that guy. My dad would go home and not speak to anybody, make sure there was no news coverage on. That would be my dad.
Yeah.
And I would
Not
find
me.
that weird as shit. Not me either. I'd be having block parties and being like, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Here's what
Did I
we've been
tell you I'm
saying.
on the jury?
Totally on the DL, you assholes. Don't get me in trouble now. What do you think, Phil? You usually got a pretty good mind for this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did they mean? I'd be trying to get information. Yeah, I'd be a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see.
I hope tomorrow's the day for your sake.
Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great
All
night.
right. See ya.
Hi. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see you then.